Hi guys, welcome back to another quick card pull. This is pulled on Monday. Oh my god, brain fart. April 13th. They're showing June for some 26 for some reason. Uh Today we're pulling from the Golden Foil Tarot cards. So some of these cards were already like there. So it's like they stood out. I was just like, "Oh, I'm going to put them to the side or I'm just going to put them back into the deck see if they come out." But they really did like resonate, so I'm just like, let's just include them. So I feel like Deceit is over. I feel like sometimes they're showing like this is from the Energy Oracle cards deck. Oh, what is it called? All Tied Up, maybe? It might be called, where it's a young lady and she's tied up, and it's just like they're talking about a self-imposed prison. So making situations worse than they actually are, and it's just like that's part of the post-traumatic stress disorder, that something has happened and we're always living in this fear mode, in this survival mode. But it's just like spirit is like, allow those swords to drop, allow that to heal, allow your guard to come a bit down, you know what I mean? So realign yourself. And you may feel as the, like, we're heading into the, the new moon energy, is the sky is getting dark. But remember, as beautiful as the universe is, it allows the stars to shine, it allows them to have that stage, and just the dimness of the moon, just that little sickle in the sky, allows them to shine even that much more brighter, kind of putting a spotlight on them. So you appreciate, the light and the darkness. They're saying whatever happens in the darkness comes to light. So the next card that came out with this that wasn't part of the like shuffle is the Nine of Pentacles. So again, like this rebirth happening in your life, where it's like, we were talking about that for like our first time, that we don't have to move, that we don't feel insecure. There is still some insecurities, but that again, that could be post-traumatic stress disorder. We keep to ourselves. We don't engage in any of the gossip and the garbage that happens around here. And you know what I mean, we do what we're asked of and then some, you know what I mean. But it's just like, that's who we are. We don't do it because we want accolades or anything like that. We're just, that's who our heart is, that's who our souls are. And you know what I mean? But I feel like, again, it's like a rebirth after going through such a horrible situation. So you will see a lot of that this year. For us, it is a 9-year for us. So with Shane's passing, so you will see that transformation as well. I don't feel like it could be kind of like snake energy, where it's like wrapping things up, shedding the last part of the skin, because it is a 10 next year for us. So again, 1 plus 0 going into numerology is 1. Number 1 in the tarot is the Magician. So we have what it takes. Or if this resonates with you, take what resonates with that. If that resonates with you, that you feel like there is a healing taking place, because some of our timelines line up. Some of them are going through different chapters, and some parts of our life going through this, and other parts of our life are going through that. But I feel like with the Nine of Pentacles, they're saying there's a rebirth going on. It's time for you to be happy again. It's time for you to rejoin the world. It's time for you to reunite with the people, places, and things that bring light and peace and love into your life. Having more things in common. I get where a lot of people are like, we don't want to be around, quote unquote, someone that is sad. I understand that. But God forbid if the shoe is on the other foot, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you can't expect to have that same energy being reciprocated back to you in some cases, because people will be like tit for tat. Or they're talking about Better Call Saul, the Salamanca motto is blood for blood. I feel like this is a year for a lot of people that went through that hermit mode, that everything is going to line up and make sense. Which is, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a silver lining, or some of us are just like, you know what I mean? Like, do I really need to know some information? Like, they were trying to tell me, like, this is what's going to happen in the future. I'm like, well, I'm trying to watch the wording there, but he is not here anymore for those things to happen. So kind of like catch and release. Is it going to make me happier, or is it going to make me sadder? I am trying to not feed energy into toxic situations anymore. It sounded like it wasn't not going to be a good situation. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to feed any energy into this. It hasn't come into fruition by the grace of God, protection, but you know what I mean? It's done. You know what I mean? It's been 9 years. It's like, how much more are we going to beat this dead horse kind of thing? And that's why I feel like it's like changing your perspective. So I feel like, you know what I mean? It's like kind of like where Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth. I definitely feel like this will It's information you don't need, honestly. Maybe you feel like there'll be no, it's just gonna break your heart. You know, you've been through enough, you've cried enough, you know what I mean? It's time to move forward. So these are from cards that are actually from like the shuffling and pulling, but I feel like just in a major way, like a major message, bringing more to your attention when they're talking about the Nine of Pentacles, a rebirth in your life. The Empress is all about that, the nurturing side of yourself. And I feel like what they're saying is allow love to come back into your life, because, you know, in certain situations, divorce, bereavement, separation, or, you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, wasn't on our bingo card, you know, who you were as a young person, entering into this kind of world, and then, you know, kids and careers and houses and whatnot later. You know, some of us are not the same anymore, so we grow in different directions. You know, again, by the grace of God, you didn't have to go through such a crazy moment where it's like, you know, a permanent you know, separation. Rather, not permanent, it's still a temporary situation, but you know, either way it's still traumatic. But, you know, I just feel like they're saying, like, because you rule with love, allow that love to find its way back to you. And I feel like a lot of us are afraid to call that in, because we know sometimes in life that that love comes at a cost. They don't love you for you, they love you what they can get from you. And we know if these kind of narcissists are in our life, where they're telling you to watch who you surround yourself with fools, or not wasting your energy on foolish people. This is where they're just kind of reminding you, gentle reminders, you know, where this is where our angel numbers come in, and, you know, messages from spirit on your For You page, or songs, or, you know, a show where someone says something that really resonates, like they were saying, like Salamanca's Blood for Blood. I don't feel like it's that harsh, but again, it's like, learn to transmute that energy and turn it into something positive instead of sending it back. Like Ella on TikTok is, you know, notorious for saying that. Like, you know, she's the one that really changed my point of view. She's like, it's like ping pong. It's just going to get more toxic, more negative, and you're wasting your time. So instead of doing that, let's just transmute it, stop it at us. You know, definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again. You know, again, growing from these situations, because you've outgrown this. Like, you know, we were talking about that last night. It's like you're a potted plant. You've outgrown this beautiful plot that you're in. So let's move forward. Let's get you into a new area where you can expand. Not only where everywhere can see, but I feel like this is outward, but I also feel like inward as well. Because you've grown, you've matured, you've changed, you've learned. Again, where they were saying, like, this pain is going to be useful. But it's like some of the messages that we get, it's like, you know, they're painful. And it's like, you know, I even said that to Spirit. I'm like, no offense, but I really don't want to kind of hear those kinds of things. You know, it's been a while. So let's just move forward. Five of Pentacles. And again, it's like moving forward, because they're walking to the right. They're walking out of the situation, and it's just like, we're moving forward out of isolation. That lack of, and I feel like, again, it's like that situation where Spirit was saying a heart of gratitude, where they were talking about the star, where they were showing, you know, big blessings and little blessings. And it's like, be grateful, because a lot of the things that we're enjoying right now, we never thought would come in our life. So there's 777 on my thing right now. But it's just like, you know, where, you know, we had made plans, but it's just like, we needed you to heal. We needed this to happen. We needed this to happen, because once you get to that spot, it's going to open a lot more doorways. So adjacent possibilities is what they're showing me from the energy oracle cards. We'll probably pull for that for tomorrow, you know, and they're showing like all these doors are opening. 7 of Cups actually came up. The biggest thing you have to tell yourself is that the fact that, what do they always tell us? The biggest journey starts with a single step. You know what I mean? It's totally like they're saying Red Zinger with it, like Kevin Smith when he was in Catch and Release. But that's not why I'm saying that, because it's like, oh, so people say this and that. But it's like, it's true. It's like anything you start in life, it starts with a single step. You're making the choice to move forward. You're making not to settle here. That is the biggest thing. It's like, yeah, we can lay down on the ground and play the victim card, or we can go into the light as they're showing us and grow from the situation. Lots of Libra energy, lots of air signs coming in here, but Queen of Swords, the truth. Let's wave on the side of truth here. I feel like moments of truth is what they're saying is going to come in here. I love that there's a bird in there. So birds may be significant, birds of the air. So like eagles, they said hawks. Owls are major messages. Crows are minor. Blue jays. I don't know. Seagull may be significant to some people. I know they're not seen as a more, um, attractive bird, but that may be significant to you. So maybe there were seamen lost at sea or something like that happened. But I feel like it's being patient as the messages come in. They may come in bits. Like, sometimes they'll tell you so much, or it's like at the moment that information doesn't make sense. So I just, if you want to start that practice, if I may suggest going to the dollar store, getting yourself one of those lined paper books. They have usually beautiful designs, and you can put it somewhere and you can just write down the message, the date, if you remember the time, and you could come back to it. It's like, oh, now I know why they were telling me that, because you're opening yourself to receiving messages, downloads, freehand as they would call it. So they're showing the Ace of Swords. As long as you're on the right side of things, you will be the victor wearing the wreath. And I feel like that's like sometimes we always try to say ourselves on the right side. This is where Deborah Silverman's The Missing Element really comes in handy. And it's like, be the observer, take the emotions out of this situation. And you probably would be in less conflict in your life if you did that, because it's just like, from this point of view, there's this. From this point of view, there's this. And I could see how they interpret that wrong. Or I could see how I interpreted that wrong. They're highlighting yourself as a nurturer. So like when it comes to financial matters, we also got the Queen of Swords. So a lot of the queens that make up the Empress, but also that you are a giver. You fill other people's cup. But I feel like this is where they're saying, like, be mindful of that energy and how much you're pouring into everyone's cup, because they are showing, like, there is something coming in here, some news, some truth coming in here. I've seen other healers on TikTok, especially talking about news coming in. It could be through the mail, it could be an email, but I feel like it's mail. It could be actually registered mail, to be honest. Legal matters or something of the sorts, where it has to be a passport, maybe. So maybe you've been waiting on passports because you're going for travel, and it's like your confirmation number, your confirmation that this will actually work out, because I feel like it's right on the brink of to the trip, and you're afraid you might have to cancel, and I feel like it's like all prepaid, and so you're stressing out, but you will have them in time. It'll be 1 to 2 days closer, but they're asking you just like pay attention. Like, who pays attention to the expiration dates? Not a lot of people. We keep getting the Ten of Cups, and I feel like that's like, there may be blips and blops that happen in life, but I feel like the biggest lesson there is, when the days are sweet, when everything is going the way that as it should, is what they're saying. Be appreciative of that. Like, celebrations coming up, because we do have Mother's Day coming up, graduations coming up, birthdays. So it's like, in the moments that they're sweet, pay attention to that. They're asking you to be mindful of your intuition, be mindful of your dreams. There are getting a lot of messages, stating that, like, energetic numbers, birds of the air, like, minor messages, major messages, or just like things that resonate with you when you see that or you hear it. It's like, that resonated with me, write it down, because it's like, why are they trying to call that to your attention? I feel like this is around a new person trying to enter your life. We kept getting like the Two of Cups, or people trying to move in. We got like the King, or not the King, excuse me, the Knight of Wands. And it's like this forward motion, but it's like, the actions of the horse shows you how aggressive this kind of energy, or how they're saying how flamboyant, but I feel like how forward, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of us like forward people, because a lot of us, we're attracted to shy or quieter people, because it's like, that's the kind of things that we enjoy. But I feel like with this rebirth of yourself in a lot of ways, where it's like, quote unquote, rejoining the earth, or rejoining your tribe, rejoining, friends, because it's like, you're ready for it now. You know what I mean? It's like, things won't trigger you the way that it would, where it would take you back into that healing journey. And again, this is where you're shedding that. I feel like it's like the tip of your toe, honestly, your big toe. It's like, you've done most of the work here. You've done most of the magic. You've done most of the healing. It's like, allow them to celebrate you, because like a lot of the times we don't look at celebrating ourselves, and literally my girlfriend is celebrating something significant to her today. So it's just like, big, small, whatever that celebration is, think of the Star card. More and more celebrations are coming in. They are talking about a fall wedding. The pumpkin should be something significant here. But again, I feel like, it is like, the bride, her bridesmaid, and her matron of honor. But I feel like this is also Mother's Day, honoring the mothers, the nurturers, whomever that person is in your life, that your ride or die, that is that nurturing energy in your life. So you may be a Bath and Body girly, that they're saying like candle season is like kind of, tapering down. I know my family on the other side in Australia, it's like theirs is just starting, right? Because it's starting to get cooler there. They're getting, fall clothing and all the good stuff. Like, you get over the hot and sweating and, not able to sleep. And it's like you're able to layer where you're, if you get a little warm, take off the hoodie. If you get, you know what I mean, a little too cool, put it back on. But I feel like they're saying don't forget don't overlook yourself, especially if you are a single person raising children, and it's just like don't forget to nurture yourself and celebrate you and all your accomplishments. I know we're always looking to the future being like, "Oh, we got to take care of this, we got to take care of that, and this is coming up and that's coming up." So it's like don't forget to buy yourself anything, something a little, maybe it's flowers from the store or you're buying yourself flowers for the outside, but it's like don't forget yourself. Like you're important to celebrate as well. This moon card stood out, and I feel like this is where I was just like, okay, I feel like there's a fallout, or someone is not talking to you as much, and there's something going on where it's like lawyers, policemen, or like some sort of authority figure is like intervening. I don't feel like this is your tribe. I don't feel like this is your person. You know what I mean? I feel like they're trying to just disturb your peace. So this could be they're highlighting right now until the full moon in May. I'll have to check my calendar. So it may be right around like the 12th or 13th there around Mother's Day. But I feel like that's what they're saying, like incoming kind of thing where I was just like, what is this? I was just going to end it on the last cards. And I was like, no, that means something. There's, you know what I mean? And they were saying someone's not able to be in contact with you because of this. And that's about to come out because I guess they were advised not to talk to you, or you know what I mean? And it's just like people need to mind their own business. It's like just because you feel like you're entitled or you feel like you should have some sort of say doesn't mean you should have a say. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your money and resources. So, you know what I mean? They're saying, "Oh, they're looking for a battle." And it's like it ain't going to be a battle. It's like plain English. It's all spelled out for you. Has nothing to do with you. They hate to relinquish control because they think they had some sort of control, and now that they don't have a say or anything like that, they're trying to delve back into that. And it's like, no. I feel like this will be the final blow and you guys are done. Final nail in the coffin. It's like, I allot you enough niceties and, you know what I mean? Try to, be not so much the bigger person or take the higher ground, like you look down on them. You just don't want that in your energy. You don't want that in your field. So it's just like, just be wary of that, maybe that's where they were talking about the registered mail. But this says something in a bubble packet, the white bubble packet, so it may be the US mail, postal service. I think the Canadian ones look like that as well, but it's in the bubble mailers where you like pull it open. I see passports. So again, this may be a confirmation that your passports will come in time, or they're getting renewed, or some sort of along the lines. But you are pulling it open. It's blue and green passports covers, if that makes sense. I don't know what the different colors mean. I hate flying, so just to be crystal clear there. So I hope you enjoyed this quick card pull. May the universe bless you good.